The truth about Greece in the Bible is not simply a historical story, but also an essential part of the first words of the Bible. With its strong culture and influence in the ancient world, the Greek language was mentioned in the first triads about kingdoms and empires in the early triads such as Daniel and Maccabees. According to the Bible, Greece was not only a nation famous for war and conquest, but also played an essential role in the spread of civilization and knowledge, profoundly influencing the world. The first words of prophecy in the Bible do not reflect the existence of the Greek Empire, but only its future in God's grand plan. Through the images and symbols of the pioneer triad, they saw how God used the nations and powers of the world to accomplish His purposes, whether they were aware of it or not. In this article, we will explore the profound lessons of the Greeks in the Bible and gain a better understanding of the meaning of the first words. Number 1. Greece in the prophecy stream, Israel's spiritual rival. Historically, when we think of Greece, we immediately think of its outstanding achievements in philosophy, science, art, and the glorious conquests of Alexander the Great. This civilization shaped not only the world's ideas but also its literature, military, and art. But there is another aspect of Greece, less known. Still, extremely important in the Bible, its spiritual role in the prophetic stream, with a profound influence that far surpasses any of the cultural and military glory we are usually familiar with. The Bible sees Greece not only as an empire that stood up to Israel militarily, but also as a great spiritual rival of God's people. From the exploits and expansion of Greek culture under Alexander the Great, a new era opened up. Greek cultural values, also known as Hellenism, began to penetrate every corner of Israel's life, causing significant spiritual conflicts. This was a clash between two cultures and a spiritual confrontation, with Greece symbolizing the considerable challenges of faith for the people of God. The Greek family in the Bible originated from Javan, son of Japheth, one of the three sons of Noah. Javan's name is recorded in the book of Genesis, marking a significant milestone, not only in the lineage but also as the starting point of a civilization that would substantially influence Israel. Biblical prophecies mention this nation as a force that confronts Israel and spreads its impact to the world, leading to spiritual conflicts that last until the end. Through the story of Greece, we see the powerful attack of foreign culture, which not only affected Israel historically, but also initiated a spiritual war. This war continues in the hearts of many people when faced with the world today. Number 2. The origin and mission of Greece in the divine plan. According to the Bible, the origin of Greece is traced to Javan, one of the sons of Japheth, the son of Noah. This is recorded in Genesis 10, commonly known as the Table of Nations, which describes the distribution of peoples on the earth after the Great Flood. The Table of Nations is a historical record and the foundation for the development of many great ancient peoples, including the Greek people. Ya'an, described as a descendant of Japheth, was the one who created important branches such as Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodonim. These people are believed to be the ancestors of the ancient Greeks, especially the Ionians. The Ionians played a significant role in developing and expanding Greek civilizations in history. The Ionians migrated and established substantial settlements throughout the Mediterranean, especially in Asia Minor. Over time, they developed an influential culture with outstanding achievements in philosophy, art, science, and politics. Famous city-states such as Athens and Miletus arose from these settlements, and it was from these places that the first philosophical ideas of the West began to sprout. Thinkers such as Thales and Heraclitus laid the foundations for philosophical thinking. At the same time, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle contributed profound philosophical ideas and influenced science and how people viewed the world. The Ionian settlements were not only intellectually advanced, but also vivid evidence of a brilliant culture and art. Archaeological discoveries have revealed structures, works of art, and ancient records demonstrating the power of Ionian trade and navigation. From there, the Ionians not only spread their cultural values, but also laid the foundations for the development of many successor peoples and empires, from the Roman Empire to modern Western civilizations. The development of Greek society and the role of the Ionians were significant in the spread of philosophical and religious ideas, which strongly influenced various cultures, including the Jewish people. The Hellenistic period, ushered in by the conquests of Alexander the Great, marked a period when the influence of Greek culture spread throughout the Near East and the Mediterranean. Not only did this spread change society and culture, it also influenced the religions of many peoples, including the Jewish communities living in Israel and its surrounding areas. Greek values blended with Jewish beliefs and ways of life, creating a cultural exchange between East and West. The connection between Greece and the Bible is not just a lineage in Genesis, but also a meeting of people and values. In God's plan, Greece served as a cultural bridge between East and West, helping to spread philosophical and artistic ideas and aspects of faith and worship. Number 3. The Greek footprint in prophecy, its rise and timeless influence. In the book of Daniel, especially chapter 8, we find a powerful prophecy about the rise of the Greek Empire and its far-reaching impact on the history of Israel and the world. Daniel describes the emergence of two symbols in mystical visions and vivid imagery, each representing a major historical empire. The Medo-Persian Empire appears as a ram, while the Greek Empire is depicted as a goat. These are not mere images, but prophetic scenes, placed at the center of the flow of history, which set in motion a chain of events that would change the entire course of the world. In the vision, the goat advances from the west at a rapid pace, a powerful image of the rapid conquests of Greece under the command of Alexander the Great. With its large horn in the middle of its forehead, the goat represents Alexander, the young king who rose from the dead and built one of the world's largest empires. Daniel 8 verse 5 describes the goat as moving at an incredible speed, without touching the ground, alluding to Alexander's relentless strategy and spirit as he expanded his empire from Greece to Egypt, Persia, and India. This strength and agility reflects Alexander's boundless ambition and indomitable will, making him an unforgettable historical figure. Alexander's sudden death at 32, at the height of his power, is a key point in Daniel's vision. Prophecy had predicted that Alexander would not live long enough to enjoy the glory of his empire. Daniel depicts this in a poignant image, the great horn being broken, signaling Alexander's passing at the height of his power. And, as the prophecy in Daniel 8:8 says, 4 other horns arose after the great horn was broken, symbolizing the division of the Greek Empire into 4 smaller kingdoms. Alexander's generals divided the regions of Macedonia, Egypt, Syria, and Asia Minor, creating a redistribution of power in the ancient world. This division was not simply a change in military power, but also a sign of the spread of Greek culture and philosophy, also known as Hellenism, into vast territories, including Israel. Hellenism's distinctive thinking and philosophy caused a profound cultural conflict with Jewish beliefs and traditions. The invasion of Greek culture was a military conquest and a conquest of ideas and ways of life. These ideological differences led to intense conflicts, sometimes becoming bloody confrontations, including the Jewish revolt led by the Maccabees. They rose to defend their cultural identity and beliefs, creating a powerful wave of resistance and a period of profound change in the history of Israel. Looking back at history, we see that Daniel's prophecy is not just a warning or a message of prediction. It confirms that all historical events are arranged in God's providence. No matter how great, human power is only part of His great and unending plan. The short but memorable life of Alexander the Great reminds us of the fleeting nature of earthly power and fame, An entire empire can rise in a moment, but can also vanish when God's will is fulfilled. The spread of Greek culture, with its different values, sparked a major spiritual conflict. In the Jews' fierce defense of their faith, we see their steadfastness and loyalty to God, even in the face of external pressures for change. The Jews chose to keep their faith and covenant with God, a lesson for all time. Number 4, spiritual warfare, the Greek invasion and the Antichrist prophecy. After Alexander the Great died, his vast Greek empire was quickly divided into 4 small kingdoms ruled by generals. Among them, Judea, the homeland of the Jews, fell to the Seleucid Empire. This was a time of great upheaval, both politically and spiritually. The Seleucids sought to promote Hellenization, imposing Greek culture and beliefs on the Jewish people. They wished to make Judea part of the greater empire, but strong opposition from the Jews quickly erupted. This cultural invasion not only caused a clash of religious values, but also a fierce spiritual war. For the Jews, faith in God was everything, and being forced to abandon that faith was an intolerable test. During this period, the Greek cultural invasion reached its climax with the desecration of the Second Temple in Jerusalem. The Seleucid king Antiochus IV Epiphanes ordered the erection of a statue of Zeus in the Holy of Holies, the holiest part of the temple. This was a great insult to the Jews, since the Holy of Holies was reserved for the presence of God. Furthermore, Antiochus ordered the sacrifice of a pig on the altar, an act that the Jews considered extremely unclean, since pigs were forbidden by their law. This event symbolized the abomination of desolation, a term prophesied in Daniel 11:31. It was a warning of the invasion of a foreign power that would defile the sanctuary and put an end to the daily offerings. Antiochus not only wanted to control Judea politically, but also to eliminate the Jewish faith, replacing it with the worship of Greek gods and pagan philosophies. This event was not simply a military invasion, but also a fierce spiritual battle between reverence for God and foreign beliefs. This was an important milestone, opening a prophecy of what would happen in the future, when religious forces opposed to faith in God would seek to eliminate this faith. The actions of the Antichrist in the last days will reflect this, as he tries to destroy the faith of God's children and replace it with other forms of worship. However, amid terrible trials, the Jews did not abandon their faith. Under the leadership of the Maccabees, they revolted, reclaimed the temple, and re-sanctified it. This was a political and significant spiritual victory, marking the restoration of faith in God. The Jews celebrate this victory with the festival of Hanukkah, a holiday with profound significance in their history. The Maccabee revolt was not only a physical victory, but also a testament to the steadfastness and strength of faith. It reminds us that, even in the face of dark forces and spiritual invasion, if we maintain our faith in God, He will help us overcome any challenge. The lesson from this event is clear. Spiritual warfare is not always fought on the battlefield, but can also occur within each person. In today's world, we do not face military invasions as the Jews did, but we still have to fight against temptations, foreign ideas, and beliefs that are increasingly widespread. Every day, we must defend our faith and fight against the negative influences of the world around us. As the Jews demonstrated in their battle, only by remaining steadfast in our faith in God can we overcome complex challenges. We must remember that God is always by our side, protecting and guiding us in this spiritual battle. No matter how the world changes, faith in Him will be the strength to help us overcome all difficulties and achieve the final victory. Number 5, the importance of empires in end-time prophecy. Throughout human history, visions of great empires and the emergence of the Antichrist kingdom have played an important role in deciphering God's prophecies. One of the most prominent visions we find in the Bible is the 4 beasts in the book of Daniel, each representing a great empire that will appear in the world. In particular, The third beast, the leopard, with its unique characteristics and meanings, brings warnings and insights into the future of nations and events in the end times. The four beasts and their prophetic significance. In Daniel 7, the prophet Daniel saw a vision of four beasts, each representing a great empire in history. These beasts reflect military power and contain spiritual elements and the far-reaching influence these empires will have on the world. The lion represents the Babylonian Empire. The bear represents the Medo-Persian Empire. The leopard represents the Greek Empire. And the 10-horned beast represents the Roman Empire. Each beast has its distinct characteristics. The winged lion represents the destructive power of Babylon. The bear represents the resilience and expansion of the Medo-Persian Empire. However, the four-winged leopard, representing Greece, is the beast we will focus on in particular, as it not only represents the Greek Empire, but is also a prophecy that has profound implications for end-time events. Greece and the end-time resurgence. Under Alexander the Great's leadership, Greece rapidly expanded its territory from Greece to Egypt, Persia, and India in less than 12 years. This greatness and speed of conquest is depicted in the four-winged leopard in Daniel's vision. The wings of the leopard not only symbolize speed, but also a sign of division after Alexander's death, when the Greek Empire was divided into four parts, each led by one of his generals. Paganism and Greek religion. Greece was the cradle of famous mythological and religious systems, with gods such as Zeus and Apollo. Although ancient Greece no longer exists, the influence of this paganism can still reappear in new forms of religion, especially those that oppose the Christian faith. Greek symbols and gods may return in the form of modern religions, inviting people to return to rational and atheistic values. Greek philosophy and the confrontation with faith. With its strong foundation in reason and rationality, Greek philosophy has profoundly influenced human history. In the end times, these philosophical ideas will not only continue to develop, but will also confront the Christian faith. Rationalism will seek to deny the existence of God and make man the center of the universe. The confrontation between Greek rationalism and Christian faith will create enormous spiritual tension, testing the faith and steadfastness of those who follow God. Military legacy and global power. Another essential element of the Greek legacy is war and military power. The military legacy of Alexander the Great will not only be part of history, but will also influence the future. In the end, there may be a global military system with the goal of world domination through force and war. This will not only be a military war, but also a spiritual war, with the imposition of ideas and power from which man cannot escape. Revelation and the convergence of empires. The connection between the visions in Daniel and Revelation is a must-see when looking at the end times. In Revelation 13:02, we see the end-time beast described as a combination of characteristics from the four great empires of history: Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome. This suggests that the kingdom of the Antichrist will not be simply the rebirth of any one empire, but rather a combination of the destructive and religious, philosophical, and military forces of these empires. In particular, Greek influence in the kingdom of the Antichrist will remain important, as evidenced by its religious, philosophical, and military systems. Paganism, rationalist philosophy, and Greek military heritage will become essential elements in the construction of a global system of the Antichrist, where power will be imposed on all who oppose it. A call to faith. We must remember that these visions are not just warnings about past empires, but also prophecies about the future. The battle between faith and religious, philosophical, and military systems is becoming increasingly evident. Yet, in all these trials, God is with us, guiding us through the difficulties, and the ultimate victory will belong to those who remain faithful to Him. Ultimately, the lesson of these visions is not fear, but a call to strong faith. Despite great trials, we can stand firm in the end times if we trust God, who will bring salvation and eternal victory. Number 6. Paul's confrontation, spiritual warfare in Athens. One of the most critical moments in the Apostle Paul's missionary journey was his confrontation with the pagan philosophy and beliefs of the Greeks in Athens, recorded in Acts 17. This event occurred at Mars Hill, Areopagus, where Greek philosophers and scholars gathered to debate and discuss philosophical and religious issues. There, Paul encountered the Athenians, who worshipped many gods and did not recognize the true God. Paul noticed an altar to the unknown God that the Athenians worshipped, and he used it as an opportunity to teach about the one God who created the heavens and the earth and everything in the universe. He made it clear that God cannot be confined in man-made temples, and that he does not need the service of men as if he lacked anything. Paul asserts that although the Greeks worshipped many gods, they had not yet recognized the true God he was proclaiming. The important thing about this confrontation is the combination of theology and philosophy. Paul denounces idolatry and calls for repentance and turning to God. He emphasizes that God sent his Son Jesus into the world to save humanity from sin and death. This is the main message that Paul wants to convey to the people of Athens. This confrontation is a philosophical debate and part of a more significant spiritual battle where God's truth confronts pagan philosophy. Paul skillfully uses Athenian culture and philosophy elements to bridge their faith and understanding. Rather than simply convincing them with religious reasoning, Paul contrasted the philosophies of Greek philosophers such as Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle with the truth of the Bible, showing them their shortcomings and limitations. One of Paul's key apostolic strategies was his tactfulness in approach. He did not use harsh arguments, but instead led the Athenians into a philosophical discussion, helping them to perceive the truth about God. Paul did not want to convince them only of his religion, but also of a new way of life, a life lived under the guidance of the one God. The outcome of this confrontation was not entirely the same for everyone. Some listened to and believed Paul's teachings, while others scorned or ridiculed what he said. Whatever the outcome, however, this confrontation significantly contributed to spreading the gospel and a foundation for expanding the church worldwide. Paul's confrontation in Athens is still very relevant in today's modern context. Paganism, rationalist philosophy, and faithless ideas continue to confront God's truth in the contemporary world. Paul's words still resonate, reminding us that the battle between reason and faith, between God's truth and false religions, continues. The recognition of the one God and the rejection of false gods is not just a religious issue, but a battle of the mind and the heart. This eternal message remains unchanged, and the call to repentance and return to God remains valid for the ancient Athenians and everyone today. Number 7. Spiritual warfare, the Greek legacy and God's warning. We are witnessing a battle between faith in God and the prevailing secular ideas in the modern world. The Greek philosophical legacy, despite its many centuries, continues to influence ideologies and movements today, challenging our faith in God and the values of the Bible. Greek philosophers such as Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle laid the foundations of Western thought, from reason, human nature, to the order of the universe. However, these ideas contradict the truths of the Bible, especially the view of the existence of God and moral values based on faith. In addition, the pagan influence of Greece is still present in myths and symbols, although they are less common today. These ideologies continue to encourage people to seek truth through reason and science rather than faith in God, challenging the teachings of the Bible. The battle between secular ideas and faith in God is becoming increasingly evident in modern society. Movements such as materialism, scientism, and free thought are growing stronger, encouraging people to live based on reason and material things rather than faith in spiritual values. Although the Greek Empire has fallen, its influence is still felt in today's spiritual wars. However, the Bible remains our guiding light. Faith in God is the solid foundation that helps us overcome the world's trials and temptations. When we stand firm in our faith, we will find peace and salvation from Him. The truth about Greece in the Bible is not only a historical subject, but also a powerful reminder of God's intervention in all world events. In prophecy, Greece plays an important role not only in the historical context, but also in God's plan of salvation. Prophecies concerning the Greek empires, such as in the book of Greece, concerning the Greek people's power and control. With its growing civilization and widespread influence, Greece became an instrument in God's hands to bring about significant changes in the ancient world. We can also learn from Greece that no matter how great an empire's power and glory may be, God alone is all-powerful, controlling everything from kingdoms to small lives. These lessons of pride, decline, and restoration not only help us better understand history, but also remind us of God's providence in every circumstance of life. Hopefully, through this article, you will have a deeper insight into the role of Greece in the Bible. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to the channel to receive more valuable lessons from God's Word.